皆さんこんにちは。今日カスタラケーキを作ります。カスタラは柔らかくて美味しい日本のケーキです。じゃあ始めましょう。And that's enough very basic Japanese for the moment. As I very simply explained in Japanese, today I'll be making a Castella cake, which is a beautiful sponge from Japan. I think it's originally from Spain, but when it was brought over to Japan, they sort of made it their own. Castella cakes are a very light and very delicate sponge cake, and they are actually relatively easy to make gluten-free. It's kind of like angel cake, but even lighter. Castella cake by itself is a very beautiful thing to eat, but at the end of this video today I will be using it to turn it into something a little bit sweeter and a little bit cuter, which you can try yourself if you like. I was actually first introduced to Castella cake in a gluten-free bakery in Asakusa, Tokyo. The bakery was just dedicated to Castella cakes, and they had like all sorts of flavors. They had like coffee, chocolate chip, matcha, cocoa, plain, and me and my mum, who's also gluten-free, ended up buying loads and loads so we could take them with us when we travelled around Japan. So when we're finally able to travel again, definitely put Atako Bakery Asakusa on your list if you're ever in Tokyo. Today's recipe should really only be cupboard items. The only thing that you might need to go out and buy is about 1 million eggs. We use 6 eggs for this recipe. Let me show you what we need to do for the Castella cake recipe. Neko desu. Oh, thanks. You will need 6 eggs, 60 grams of butter, 100 mils of milk, 60 grams of gluten-free flour, 20 grams of corn flour, 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 90 grams of caster sugar. Here's up, so I'm getting serious. Our first step today is to separate 5 egg whites and egg yolks. Why are my eggs in cups, you may ask? Firstly, great observation skills. Secondly, you want your eggs to be room temperature. And someone forgot to take their eggs out this morning to rest. So a really good tip is to just pop them in warm water, not hot. You don't want to cook them. You just want to put them in warm water for like 2 to 3 minutes and they will be good to go. They feel good. Also, make sure you dry them when you take them out because you don't want any water to be getting in with the egg whites. That's important. Don't drop the eggs, Morgan, just dry the eggs. Tamago. By the way, if anyone's looking for Japanese lessons, I take Japanese lessons from Miku Real Japanese, who is a YouTuber and she has a Patreon, and if you're looking at improving your Japanese, I would 100% recommend checking her out. She's amazing and a very good teacher. So we're going to separate only 5 of the 6 eggs, okay? So we're going to put the yolks in here and the egg whites in here. Okay, I've just ruined one, so I'm going to start again. It's really important that you don't put the yolk in with the whites because the eggs just won't whip. Heed my warning. Take 2. And our final egg, the whole thing just goes in with the yolks. Done. The next step is over a pot of hot water, we're going to melt the butter and milk together, and we're just going to do this gently. I'm taking the butter and milk and pouring it into a larger bowl. And now we're going to sift in the flour, corn flour and xanthan gum and then give it a good whisk. And we'll just pop that to the side for the moment. The next step is to whip the egg whites. We're going to whip them until they start to turn pale and slowly add in the sugar and the salt, and we're going to keep whipping them until they form soft peaks. Not stiff peaks, soft peaks. Stiff peaks, not soft peaks. That's a good tongue twister. Stiff peaks, not soft peaks. Stiff peaks. No. Soft peaks, not stiff peaks. Soft peaks, not stiff peaks. Soft peaks, not stiff peaks. the oven to 150 degrees bake. And now we're going to fold in the egg whites. So we're not going to do it all at once. We'll just go one spatula full at a time. Cooking this cake might be a little bit different to what you're used to. You actually cook it inside a square tin, which is inside another square tin, which is inside a water bath. The reason for this is that you don't want it to cook or form a crust around the edges, so it has that beautiful crust on the top and the white sponge down the side. So the only thing you will need for this is 2 similar sized cake tins. They don't have to be the exact same size, you could have a small one and a big one. For the cake tin today, I'm using a 9 by 9 inch square tin. And then I'm just going to be pouring the water into the roasting tray. So it will sit in there like that, and when it's in the oven, I will pour water around it very carefully. To start off, I'm going to cut my baking paper to fit the exact shape of the square tin. And the reason for that is just so it has a really perfect border. It doesn't have any like indents where the baking paper would go. So let me show you how to do that. Now we're going to pour this slowly into the lined baking tin, and the reason we do this slowly is that it will help get all of the big air bubbles out so we have a nice uniform sponge mixture. Don't open the oven. So I've tied it up. Still got 30 minutes to go. Let's see what Lincoln's up to. Hey buddy. What are you up to? So, how you been? Have you got any news? What's been going on lately? What are you doing this afternoon? Cool. Love you. One of the most important things is that you take the cake out as soon as it's ready, because you don't want it to sit in the moisture, because the moisture will flatten it. Omedetou! Cake desu! To prevent it from sinking, I'm going to take the cake out. You can already see that it's starting to sink on itself, but I'm going to take out the cake and place it immediately onto a drying rack. So now we just need to let the Castella cake cool. While that's happening, I thought I could show you what happens when you overbeat and overcook a Castella cake. This is what happens when you overbeat and overcook a Castella cake. It comes out flat as a pancake and super rubbery. What? Oh no, this is totally just for learning purposes. I didn't shoot a whole video and have to refilm it all because I overbeat the eggs the first time. That would be silly. So even though I said that Castella cake is really delicious to eat by itself, I thought I'd use this opportunity to make something really cute. And so I'm going to whip up some cream and chop up some strawberries, and we're going to make it look really cute. Yay! we are finished. Here are the final littles, fresh cream and strawberry Castella cakes. You of course don't have to do the last bit if you just want to make the Castella cake. I just thought it'd be fun to do some redecorating. If you give this recipe a try, please let me know how it goes. As always, you can find the recipe in the description below. But otherwise, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, don't forget to like and subscribe. That would be awesome. And let me know what other recipes you'd like to see in the future. Itadakimasu! See you next time.